Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of our Let's Play series for Football Manager 2016. Alrighty, last time around we finished the season, we won the Eredivisie, lost in the Dutch Cup final on penalties to Feyenoord, which was massively disappointing. Anyway, that's life, and obviously Champions League wasn't a great turnout this season, so we're going to get stuck into pre-season. So obviously pre-season is pretty much on us now, so our guys are going to go on holidays, and we're going to start doing some scouting about looking at some players, who we're going to buy, who we're going to keep. We're actually pretty overloaded with players, especially guys coming back on loan. I think actually probably have to sell a few of our guys who aren't going to play. In our first team, we're going to have a ridiculous amount of talent, but hopefully that means we can buy maybe a few sort of really established stars. I'm actually really keen to get Klaassen back in the club. I think he would be an absolutely brilliant buy. I'm tempted to get Sam de Jong, although I'm a little bit still undecided about whether we really need him. Milik didn't have a great season though, but there is potential there that we could actually maybe convert Simdi onto a pure striker, or like I said, we could actually even end up having another tactic that incorporates an AMC to take advantage of him and Anderson and even Nuri. They're all sort of natural at the AMC role, so there is potential there we could do that. In this preseason as well, I'm definitely going to set up a counter-attacking tactic. So I haven't actually settled on the formation and that kind of stuff yet. I need to do a little bit more research and a little bit more sort of playing off camera, a little bit more testing before I actually come up with a final tactic. But yeah, we're definitely going to set up a sort of proper counter-attacking tactic for basically solely designed for the Champions League. It's probably going to be very anti-Ajax football, but I think we need to do it basically. Just sort of know something here. Milik actually says he's got a full style development to go, which is actually quite surprising. That is only a 13 potential coach there, so oops. Come back into his reports. Can we get him in a little bit better with potential? Just going to run through this, just have a look. I would have thought he would nearly be his potential, actually. I would have thought he would have had a whole lot of development left. So Wim Jong's got 17, yeah, so he's pretty much almost had his potential there, so that's okay. Improve a slide amount, yeah, right, that's cool. Alright guys, I think what I'm about to do, I'm actually going to probably pause the video here, probably run through a whole bunch of preseason, and I'll jump back into it once I've, once some stuff starts happening in terms of, offers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of scouting and, research and stuff, players off camera, and yeah, we'll jump back into the video once I've got some news. So I'll see you all soon, guys. Alrighty guys, a couple of developments I'm going to fill you in on. So 3rd of June 2017, our initial budget, I should say, for this season, or the upcoming season, has been set at 20 million. So I have a fair bit of money to spend. I plan to spend quite a bit of it. First thing, David Klaassen is still on the transfer list, 10.75 million. I'm actually going to basically buy him. We sold him for 11.5, so we'll actually still be making a profit on him. And I think he's just too good a player, basically, not to bring back to the club. I think he's a really, really good player, and I'd love to get him back to the club. So we're going to do that, and we'll try and get him back. I'm not quite convinced about Sam de Jong, even though it's only 3.5 million now value for him, or price for him. I'm just going to leave it for a little bit. Not really 100% sure that we need him. I'd love to get him back. I really love him as a player and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not 100% convinced we really need him. And unfortunately, if he was naturally in a striker position, I probably wouldn't hesitate, but given that he's only natural in an AMC where we don't play, and he's only accomplished at the striker role, which means he's not going to play as well there as he would at AMC, so I'll leave it for the moment and see what happens. Basel, so we had a couple of offers in from Basel, so Arsenal and Man United both put in around 25 million. I got Arsenal up to around 30 million. They wouldn't go much further. Man United's offers was non-negotiable. Basel then basically told us he wants to leave. I tried everything I could. I said that he wants to play he wants to get a Champions League winners medal, and he said he's not going to get that here. And I said, well, wait until we get some transfers in. He said no, he's not prepared to wait. I said, well, will you give us another year? And he said no, he wants to leave straight away. I said, we're taking a contract, more money. He says no. So unfortunately, I think we're going to have to let him go. I think his sort of head has been turned. We're going to try and get 35 million for him. I think if we get 35 million for Basel, even though he's a brilliant, brilliant player, I think if we can get 35 million for him, it's going to be probably a pretty good result for us. So I set his price at, actually set it at 30 million if we go. And then hopefully I think Arsenal and Man United, see what Roma and Braga and stuff are still interested as well. So I think we probably have to let him go, but I think it's sort of the natural. I'm not worried about letting a player go here and there, but I'm just going to try and keep the bulk of our team together and not sort of have wholesale sales. And, you know, I think it's just natural with Ajax. Like, we've talked about it before, you're going to have to let players go here and there as Ajax. It's just part of playing as the club. So the main thing is, or the important thing is how you actually replace, you know, the players that you let go. So I think Buzzware is going to be one of those. So anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to let you guys know. I don't think there's anything else really. Arsene Wenger has retired at Arsenal. They've actually been linked to the post. Obviously not going to take it, but that's quite flattering. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for now. So I'm going to pause the video again and we'll be back soon, guys. Alrighty guys, first big transfer of the season. So, Klaassen is back at the club, which is brilliant. So, really happy to get him back. Still made a profit on his time. Got a fair bit of money, 42k a week, but I'm happy with that. So, yeah, so that is good. So, I'm going to speak to Shone, say welcome into the club, which is good. Yeah, so it's brilliant to have Klaassen back at the club. So, he's a great player. And he's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet, which is good. So it gives us a lot more options as well at sort of midfield, with a couple of really good attacking midfielders there in Nemanja G and Klaassen, and both of them can probably play in the box-to-box role. They've got some good work rate and teamwork and all that kind of stuff. So really happy to get him back, which is a good start to the season. So it cost a fair bit of money, but that's fine. I expect we're probably going to make one or two big sales, so we still probably have a fair bit of money to spend in terms of our transfer budget. So that's good. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video again. We'll keep running through pre-season, and I'll be back shortly. Alrighty everyone, and we're back. So, we are, a few sort of things I'm going to run through with you guys. Whole stack of our players are wanted, as you guys can see here. So we've got 29 of our players wanted, which is a little bit crazy, but we're not unexpected really. I had a few sort of offers for some of our players. Kenny T's had an offer from Bayern for 28 million, which is a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, so try and, as we mentioned, and try and fend off as much you know, interest in our players as we possibly can. Nemanja G's had a bunch of offers, nothing anywhere near what we're interested in. Arsenal and Monaco still interested in Barzaware. Probably not going to sell him for probably anything less than the, you know, probably around the 30 million mark, I think. But I've had a bit of a rethink, and I think if we get around the 30 million mark, probably going to really have to take it, and that would sort of give us, you know, I mean, he's a great player, and he's, you know, we definitely want to keep him if we can, but it's sort of one of those things that, you know, we're going to have to let him go eventually, so, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Anyway, so what I'm going to do as well, I've had a bit of a rethink, and had someone actually comment on one of the last episodes that you guys probably watched, yeah, that was really appreciated, and actually their opinion was they thought we should get Klaassen, which we've done, and then get Sam de Jong back in as well. And actually do agree, he's actually injured at the moment. It's only 4 days though, so what I'm actually going to do, once he's back to fitness, we're actually going to bid for him for 3.3 million, and we're going to try and bring him back to the club. So we could wait even longer. I mean, maybe I'll wait for a couple of weeks to more the end of pre-season, because the asking prices kept dropping. I should say, not keep dropping. It's terrible. Kept dropping, so it's down at 3.3. I think it was up to 3.5 before. So, you know, maybe if we can get a few 100,000 off that as well, you know, extra off that would be really good. So I'm going to do that. Definitely going to try and bring Sam de Jong back, like we do. We don't necessarily need him, but we could retrain him. Like, we could play him at the AMC role. We could even, you know, potentially train him back at the midfield role, even out on the right, in like the Shone role. Because obviously Shone's like, you know, getting up there is really 30 now, I think. So Sam de Jong's only 28. So Sam de Jong would be probably a really good choice out on the right here, for like sort of that playmaking role out on the right. That's something that we could change, or, you know, even as a striker, we could, you know, maybe get him there. So. Yeah, so that is good. So Milik's wanted, definitely not going to let him go. There's not a whole lot of interest in him though, which is good for us. A whole bunch of our interest for us, a lot of our defenders though, which is interesting. So I have to keep our eye on that. So yeah, so how long have we got to go? So we haven't, my assistant hasn't actually set up the friendlies for, oops, there we are. First team. There we go. Hasn't set up the friendlies for... Oh, we don't have an assistant manager. What happened? The Archer already retired, didn't he? Damn it. That's why that hasn't been set up. Alright, that is a problem. So, we are... Cool. So, what are we missing? No assistant manager. Alright, so we had someone else. Assistant manager and youth development. I think we thought we made an offer for someone, a youth development person. But maybe not. Here we are. Yes, alright, so yours me a new youth development guy. Guy from NEC, really good, great stats there. Also a good personality, fairly determined, which is a good one to have. So you're going to be that, and I think, was it Robert? No, you're going to be a physio. So we need an assistant manager. Rightio. I'm not going to put a, like, normally I would sort of put an advertisement out just to make it a little bit more realistic, but given that we sort of need someone fairly quick, I'm actually going to actually have a look and pick one myself. So I'm going to go for staff role, assistant manager, and there's multiple ways you can do it. I do sort of like doing it by the ratings. It's over here. It's not a foolproof way. Sometimes it is better to go for attributes like, excuse me. There's certain attributes I really like tactical knowledge, motivation as well. Very important to me. Also, judging player ability is quite a good one. I like to have the assistant have, because it. I mean, like, I know the under 21, the B team and the under 19s fairly well. I know the players and stuff, but it is sort of always a good sort of indication to have an assistant manager that does have a good like judging player ability rating there, because it means you get like a quick sort of overview, about how the players are going, all that kind of stuff. So that is generally ones I like to have there. So we don't have to sort by this. There's only one actually, which is interesting. So. He's Italian, so he's got really good stats there. He's obviously an assistant manager there. I'd probably prefer to get a Dutch person if I can, but when it's not the end of the world. Italian, we can just get him on a language course. It wouldn't be the end of the world. So what I may do is get rid of these ones and have the nationality as Dutch. See who the best guys we've got here. So, Ernest Faber. So, actually pretty good there. So, decent motivating. Tactical knowledge, probably want that a little bit higher. Some of his training stuff as well, I'd like that to be a little bit higher. So, who else have we got here? A 4-star. No, you're no good. Motivating is great, but tactical knowledge is not high enough either. I'd like that to be a little bit higher. So, actually, I'll have a look just down here. Hopefully, you guys can see these little pop-up things. I assume you probably can do, but... Nope. Nope. Actually, you're not bad. Your training stuff's rubbish though, but your actual like mental ability is really good. Like great judging ability and potential, and also really good motivating and tactical knowledge as well. So that is actually quite like him. He's good. Pity his training stuff's rubbish, but he's fairly young, isn't he? I know, 54. Interesting. So we've got a few options. We can either go for that guy that we've come up before. No. Or we can go for the Italian guy and yeah, just send him on a language course. I don't know, guys. What do you think? So who was it? It was you and you. Jan Old Rekernick. Alrighty, so where have you lived in your career? So, that you played for Ajax. Oh, that's quite good. We'll probably bring you in then, because you're an ex-Ajax. I didn't actually know, to be honest. Manager of China under-19s. Ex-Ajax player. I mean, really an ex-Ajax player. Played for Ajax between a long time, too. 93 to 2001. Wow, that was through their golden years, too. The 95 Champions League win, so interesting. I probably should have heard of him. That's terrible. Actually, he used to work at Ajax, too. Under 18s manager, assistant manager at Ajax from 99 to 2000. Interesting. Alright, we're going to bring you back then, Mr. Jan, I should say, not Jan, Jan. So, we're going to bring you in as an assistant manager, which you're interested in, which is good. I'll pay you 2.5k, give you a 4-year contract, and yeah, that's good. Cool, done. So, you'll be a good assistant manager, I think. Cool, so that's done. That's no problem. So, yeah, so we have to get our friendlies sorted out, but we'll let our assistant manager do that, and then I can modify it if we need to. Yeah, everything else is pretty good. Probably use with another coach or two, but I know we're bringing a couple of guys in, so that's going to fill out that one. We could get a whole bunch of more scouts, but I don't really think we need them, to be honest, because we don't scout a whole lot of places. Like, we don't need like a whole lot of world knowledge, because we're not really, getting players from South America and stuff. So we really need sort of, Dutch and then Scandinavian as well, which I think we're pretty well covered in. So may have a look for an extra scout or two, see if there's some really good ones we could pick up, but it's fine. Probably grabbing a couple more physios as well, since we haven't got a great physio rating. Only third in the Eredivisie. We probably should be first. Aim is always to be first in the competition in all these different ratings, so that is good. Alrighty, I think that's pretty much everything. A whole bunch of offers and stuff for loans. I'm not going to worry about that, showing you guys this, because it's all sort of our B team and stuff. I'm going to send out probably a fair bunch of our B team out here. I'm going to have a look through here and actually look at bringing a few guys into our main team. Like Donny van den Beek, definitely, he's going to come in. Lucas Anderson, maybe, I'm not quite sure. Given his 20, I'm thinking probably yes though. Given his 22, he's only 3-star currently. He's got another half a star-ish to go, and he's probably not, I don't know, I don't think he's not really a first team starter, to be honest. He has definitely had a downgrade this year, which is well unfortunate, because previous versions of the game, Lucas Anderson was a brilliant player, but I think he's had a little bit of a downgrade this year, and he's not quite as good. Yeah, so I think I'll bring him into the first team, just to basically get his potential maxed up, and probably end up selling him. Does have a bit of offer here from some loans and stuff, but no one interested in a transfer. Yeah, so that's fine. So I think probably those two definitely. I'll look at maybe anyone else we could potentially bring in. But we're fairly well stacked now. So we're actually probably overstacked, really. There's probably a couple of guys here and probably have to go, I think. Yeah, so I'll look at that and get a bunch of loans sorted out, get the training sorted out. We'll get our new guys in, our new staff members in. Yeah, and see what happens with transfers and stuff. So I'm going to pause the video again, guys, and we'll be back shortly. Alrighty guys, and a few developments I have to inform you of. So I'm up to 9th of July, so not getting, starting to get into some of our pre-season games, which is good. Croatia have offered me the manager's job there, which is quite interesting. Not going to take it though. I would love the Holland job actually, if I could get it. I will just, next time it comes around, I'm definitely going to apply for it. Hopefully I'd have the reputation now to actually get it. I did apply for it last time actually, and it wasn't didn't have high enough reputation to get it. So hopefully next time around would be good to actually get that. Would be really cool to actually grab that. Alrighty, big transfer news. We have where are we? Dun, 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 dun. Why is it not showing up there? Here we go. Kenny T has gone to Bayern again. Can he only stay with us for another season? It's actually 28 million all up, so 17.75 initially, and 28 million with add-ons, you know, over monthly and games and international appearances, all that kind of stuff. So 28 million, nearly 30 million was basically too much for us to turn down, which is, yeah, so obviously he's really good player. Had a brilliant season with us when he came back to us. So we made another massive profit on him again, so which is good. So we bought him back for 13. If we get we end up getting the 28 million, which we will. Looking at what a 15+ million profit there, so that was very good there to get him. So really, yeah, couldn't really turn him down going to Bayern. So such a big, massive club. Basel not particularly happy, but they're not coming back in for, no one's really coming back in with good enough offers anymore. So did actually offer him out to try and get some, you know, some better offers in, but no one's really willing to pay what I'm going to want. So unfortunately he's just going to have to stay happy, and we're just going to basically suck it up. And yeah, hopefully we can, if we have to keep him then we do, but if obviously we get a really good offer, we'll let him go and we can bring in some other guys. But yeah, we're going to keep seeing how things go. So like we said, he's unhappy at the moment, but that's just life. So that's that. What else have we got going on? A few other sort of bit of transfer news here. A whole bunch of people going out on loan, which is fine. There is this interesting one here. Francesco Antonucci, one of our young guys. He's a 18-year-old Italian. He's been actually started the club. So he was actually brought in to Ajax before I started the game. So he was brought in last season, or the first season, like in real life. So he's an 18-year-old. Like brilliant, a lot of potential here. So he got 4.5. More 4-star plus potential. As an 18-year-old, he's got brilliant technical stuff here. He's out of this world technical abilities here. Some weaknesses here and there, like his off the ball, some of his decision making and stuff as well, and some of his physical as well. But he could end up being a brilliant player. But we're getting some bit crazy offers for him. Bayern have offered 5.5 million straight up, like no add-ons at all. That's just complete straight up 5.5 million, which is really, I can't really turn it down, to be honest. For an 18-year-old, like, I know he's going to be brilliant, but I'm also not 100% sure he's really ever going to necessarily have a place in our team. Like, for me, his vision and flair and stuff probably aren't really high enough for what I'd love him to have. Like, I know he's a great technical player, and he could end up being end up being a world-class player, but yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm not sure. Like, I think his personality would need a bit of work as well, because before we could send him out on loan, and he'd need to actually go out on loan to probably have to get the development, because he's not going to play for us for at least a couple of seasons probably. Yeah. So anyway, I thought 5.5 million for an 18-year-old is probably a little bit crazy, probably a little too much money to refuse. And I suppose that's a good thing about Ajax as well, is we've got so many good youngsters in here that we can afford to send him out or sell him for 5.5 million, and we've got players in here who are just as good, if not better. to actually replace him. You know, like we've got here, Drutan Zafar, a 16-year-old, plays the midfield central AMC and needs a bit of work on his passing and stuff, but for a 16-year-old, he's got some really good stats, especially his mental stuff is really good. So that's what I mean, like, it's a good thing about having lots of youngsters. You can actually end up, making a lot of money from them, and that, that really can finance your spending. So we've got 26 million already, and that's from the Kenny T transfer. That's obviously Clarkson's been brought in, so we've got a lot of money to spend, and we've got a huge wage budget as well, we can actually spend as well. So yeah, guys, that's good. A lot of money that we can end up spending. So I've been having a look through, and we're going to probably bring in another right back, I think. Actually, also because Van Rijn has been injured for 3 to 4 months in training. So that was a training injury. So I definitely have to bring in a right back. I'm actually going to try and bring in a very, very good right back, like a starting right back. I'm not sure how we're going to go, but I'm definitely going to look at that. So I think that's what we're going to start looking at now, some scouting. Like I mentioned, I'm definitely going to bring in Sem de Jong. So I actually think I'm probably going to do that now in May as well. He's still injured for a day. Asking price is it's up to 3.4 now, so that's right. We'll just leave that for a little bit, actually. Yeah, we've got lots of money, obviously, lots of money to spend, which is good. So yeah, we brought in a couple of staff members as well. So we had our youth development, which is good. So he's a really good youth development man there. And our assistant manager, oops, that's me. Our assistant manager has been brought in, which is good. Yeah, so that's good. Good. So good to have him back at the club. Also brought in a couple more scouts and another physio and stuff. So we should get should be leading all these ratings soon. We're going to bring in a couple more physios till we get this best rating in the Eredivisie. Also need a little bit more in the fitness rating there. So just either get rid of one of our fitness coaches and bring in someone better, or maybe just bring in like an extra one if we can afford it. So we'll have a look at that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for now, guys. So I've looking at our squad thing here. Who have we brought in? So I looked through the B team, and most of these guys here, like there's a lot of first team players in here because we're getting up match fitness, so I sort of ignore this. But a lot of these guys are actually going out on loan. Like the best guys are going out on loan, and then sort of the the middling guys are going to stay and actually play for the young Ajax team. But like sort of the really high potential guys are actually going to go out on loan because they're going to be better off playing in better leagues. So that's what we're going to do there. But I have brought in where are we if you sort by this? So Donny van Beek, like I mentioned. Actually take him off loan status there we go. So we brought him in, so I think he's going to be a very, very good player for us. Actually, he can play defensive mid or center. So yeah, I'm thinking actually that I'm actually not really bothered if Buzzword does go, because Donny van Beek is probably just as good, I would think. Probably he's still a little bit of development to go. He's 20 years old. He's got a little bit of development to go. So he's 3.5 stars already. He's got 3.5 plus and like a black star, another star of that black development. So a little bit of ambiguity there. Yeah, so I think he could end up being very, very good. So really good technical. Probably his defensive stuff maybe lets him down a little bit, but he definitely could play that deep lying playmaker role because he's quite creative, really good vision, good off the ball, really good technical player as well. So yeah, so if Buzzword does end up going, we've got pretty much a ready-made placement in Donny van Beek, which is brilliant. Also got Christopher Ayer, which is he did a really good job in that role last season. So yeah, so it's good. So I definitely got. Yeah, a bit of, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but we've probably actually got too many players, really. Probably, it's going to have to start making some really hard decisions about who we actually keep and who we end up selling out. So I'm actually really happy with our squad. I think generally our squad is brilliant. If we get in, we've got Clarkson in, obviously, as well, which is really good to have him back. If we bring in Sem de Jong as well, because we've got Lasse Schöne here, is 31 now, so he's actually wanted a little bit by Levante. I'm almost tempted to actually let him go if we bring in Sem de Jong and actually bet Sem de Jong out on this advanced playmaker role on the right. But I'm thinking probably not for a season. I'll probably keep both of them for a season. I'm just a little bit worried about we've got a fairly decent Sky squad, and I don't want to sort of not give out enough game time to our younger players. So I'm a little bit careful of conscious of that. So yeah, we'll see how we go. So I'm going to pause the video again, guys, and do some scouting and keep going through preseason, set up our training, all that kind of stuff. I'll show you all that before we get stuck into the proper season, and yeah, see what happens. So we'll be back soon, guys. Okay, and we're back. So we've had preseason, so we've got our first Eredivisie game in 3 days. So a lot has happened that I'm going to walk you guys through now. It's probably going to take up most of the rest of the episode. So few big things in terms of transfers. I'm going to jump in here into our transfer history. First one in, Mr. Buzzword has gone to Arsenal for 30 million. So we end up getting the fee, which is really quite pleasing. I actually thought the he was like, the interest was going to go, and they weren't sort of interested as much as they were, but they sort of ended up coming back with a massive bid that we couldn't reject. So he's gone for 30 million. So couldn't turn it down, and we've got a ready-made replacement in Donny van der Beek. So not too fussed about letting him go there. So he definitely did want to go. And he was really quite unhappy in the end. Actually, we ended up putting a transfer request. So I think it was best decision. And for that amount of money, like we're rolling in money at the moment. So we've got 96 million in our bank, in our overall balance. We've got a 47 million transfer budget, which I just can't spend. To be honest, yeah, it's going to be crazy. So what else have we got in terms of transfers? So we had, Kenny T were left for Bayern, which you've seen. Francesco Antonucci's gone to Barcelona for 5.5. I think I showed you that last time. So that was pretty okay. Quincy Menig went to Utrecht for 375k. Alrighty, in terms of guys we've brought in, so the two big ones are Klaassen, which you've already seen, and we've brought in Sam de Jong back to the club, which is really, really good. So I've got him for 3.3 million, which is good. Yeah, so really, really pleasing to have him back at the club. We're actually going to train him up in this attacking midfielder right role over there as an advanced playmaker. Try and get his competency up there, because I think that's probably the spot where he's going to end up playing. He could play as like a striking role potentially. Excuse me. But I think he's probably going to end up being a little bit better suited out here on the right, I think. So we'll give that a go, see what happens. And, yeah. But yeah, so that's really good. Really pleased to have him back, so that is really, really good. So he's obviously 28 years old. We've got him on a four-year contract, so he's going to be here for quite a long time. So he's very, very good. Very pleased to have him back. A couple of young guys we've brought in as well. One in particular, two of them are pretty like sort of stock standard. Benjamin Helland here, he's a central defender, Norwegian, Scandinavian. Simon Lee is another central defender, Norwegian as well. So we brought those in. They both got sort of around the 4-star potential. But this guy here, Henk Verbeek, I really think he could end up being a brilliant, brilliant player. Yeah, so 16 years old. We've got him. Had to pay a fair bit of money for him from Sparta. So 1.2 million up front. It could end up being about 2.2 all up, which is a fair bit for a 16-year-old, but couple of things that really sort of attracted me to him. 16-year-old, he's got good physicals already, but really the main thing, apart from his potential, like he's got 4-star plus that extra black star, so he could have 4.5, maybe even 5-star potential, like depending how he trains up and stuff. So he could be an absolute machine. He can play in multiple positions as well, so he can play in the centre or he can play on the right, so on the midfield right, midfield left, or the attacking midfield left. So he's really quite versatile. He can play lots of different positions, which is good. So it's going to give us a lot of chance to sort of see how he develops over time, because like his physicals are quite good. He's fairly quick, which means he could end up playing out on the left, but he has got some good passing here. And stuff as well, and good off the ball, which means he could end up playing in the middle as well. So probably have to work on his technique and his first touch a bit, but they're reasonable for a 16-year-old, and they've definitely a lot of time to train those up. But probably the big thing that attracted me to him was his personality. So he has a driven personality, which means basically he's going to be, as you can see, he's got 20 determination. So determination's not always an indication of personality, but especially for youngsters, a lot of the time it is, especially for like regens. Sort of their personality is sort of a lot of the time indicated by the determination. Not always, don't take that as gospel, but that is sort of a good thing to say. So I've got 20 determination, which is just crazy. So he's a driven personality, which means he's going to basically reach his potential. Like he's going to be very, like assuming he's not injury prone, all that kind of stuff, assuming he gets the games and stuff and the training. If we give him all the opportunity, he's going to develop up very, very well and very, very quickly. So yeah, very, very excited about him. I think he's going to be an absolute gem, so that is really good. Yeah, so that's good. So like I said, we've got 47 million in the bank, and I'm not really sure who we're going to spend it on. Actually, there's a couple of decisions. Excuse me. I'm going to run through with you guys now. Rightio. So jump into our short list. I'm just going to jump in here. So we need a new right back. It's probably the one position that we need someone. And then so I'm going to show you a couple of guys here. I'm sort of toying up between. So we've got a few people here. So there's Sven van Beek. Obviously, he's more of a central defender though. He's at Feyenoord, and they're not going to want to sell him. Yeah, so I would really actually quite like to get him in the club at some stage. Probably if like a Veltman replacement, to be honest, because he's a central defender. He's not for me, he's not a right back. obviously natural in the centre as well. So he's a central defender for me. He's definitely a central defender. So I would like to get him eventually, but we'll probably have to pay a fair bit of money for him. But probably not now. Probably don't really need him, to be honest. Yeah, so that's fine. But the two guys we're going to be looking at bringing in terms of our right backs is yep. Yep, you're right. All right, so we've got a couple of guys here. Basically, two options. We've got Rick Karsdorp from Newcastle, so 22 years old. Hasn't featured in the first team yet, so he's fairly good. Like he's sort of fairly good in a lot of areas without being outstanding in any. He's fairly sort of solid, I think. He's actually, if you do a bit of comparison, he's actually a little bit better than Van Rijn. So he would be quite good. We'd probably pick him up for what, 6.5 to 9.5. Does have a little bit more development to go in him as well, apparently. So he's got 2.5 star currently. He's got 3.5 stars. So there's another full star to go. So that would be quite good. If he got regular game time, he would probably develop up quite good. So he's obviously the Dutch option there. And then we've got this guy here, Jonas Svensson. He's at Palermo at the moment, 24 years old. A Norwegian, so he definitely fits our Scandinavian. He's played 3 caps for Norway. He's actually a lot better developed initially. His physicals probably aren't amazing though, but he's got great stamina, which is good for a right back. His pace isn't amazing, but I suppose it's acceptable. But he's got really, really good stamina. But his mentals are very, very good. His technical stuff's average, but his mental stuff is good. Like his bravery and aggression, composure, concentration, decisions, determination are brilliant. He's got really good work rate, teamwork, positioning, and decent off the ball as well. So, yes, I'm a little bit undecided, to be honest, guys. I'm not really quite sure who we're going to get. He would be basically probably around the same amount of money, but he's obviously not going to have any more development left. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm going to probably have to make a little bit of a decision. Like, maybe we should go for the Rick Karsdorp because he's the Dutch option. Maybe we should stick with our Dutch option, but I think Jonas Svensson is a little bit better developed already. So if we get a bit of a comparison here with our complete wing-back attack, which is what they're going to be playing. So Svensson on the left. So obviously, Svensson's got better stamina, but most of the other stuff, Rick is a little bit better in the physicals. But here's probably really here's where Svensson really shines, is the mental stuff. And you see here, like all these top mentals ones, which is what matters. Most of these 3 red ones here, to be honest, don't really matter a whole lot to me. Like off the ball is good, but positioning is also a good one to have because it is quite, probably better to be, I suppose, defensively solid. So Svensson definitely wins in the mentals, like, probably owns Rick a lot there. So, but in the technical stuff, like marking, passing, tackling, Rick Karsdorp is quite a bit better. But in terms of I suppose crossing is a bit better as well. Dribbling not quite as good, first touch not quite as good, and the other stuff doesn't really matter. So, I don't know, guys. Maybe we should just go for Rick Karsdorp, given that he's the Dutch option. He's got a little bit of development, so maybe we could train up his mentals to be a little bit better. Everything else is probably pretty much the same, so I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Because like he says, he's a star player. He's highly professional as well, whereas Rick isn't as professional. He's really consistent. Good team player. Current international. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really undecided because obviously Rick Karsdorp's not really playing for Newcastle a lot. They got 21 games last season, which is not bad really for a for his sort of level of development. So he's got potential to be a star right back. He's not quite there yet. Highly professional, which is good. Natural several positions. Very interested. Relishes the big matches. Handles himself professional, fairly consistent, fairly good team player. So obviously would count towards the minimum of 8 players, but that doesn't really matter because we've got a huge amount of Dutch players there anyway. So yeah, so I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm just gonna make a decision here, aren't I? I'm going to go for Rick Karsdorp. I'm going to try and get him in. I'm going to try and stick with the Dutch stuff as much as possible. I think probably Jonas Svensson's a little bit better now, but we'll give Rick the opportunity to develop up a little bit more. Just have another full star development, which is a fair bit. So if we can get some of his mental stuff up here, like I think his physicals are probably really good. His stamina could be a little bit better. I think this stuff down here is quite good, like the off the ball positioning, work rate, all stuff. It probably doesn't need to be any better really. It's probably this area up here, this little mental stuff up here that we need to be a little bit better. Most of his like technical stuff is fine. We need some of this mental stuff to be a little bit better. So, we're going to try and get him in. So, what did they say? 6.5 to 9.5. So, we're going to make an offer for what? 7.5 to start with. Alright, so that's cool. So I probably overpaid a little bit there, but I'm not too worried about that, so that's a fair bit of money. So, looking at our squad, I'm thinking potentially actually gonna probably maybe have to sell someone or two, because we've probably got too many players, to be honest. So Lucas Anderson, this is probably the thing, I ended up sending him out on loan. He's actually gone to Norwich, so I thought he'd actually probably be, he's actually a first team player at Norwich apparently, so I thought it would be really quite good for him to get some game time in the Premier League for a season, get a little bit more development for him, and then once he comes back next season, he'll be 23. If he develops up a little bit more, we'll see how we go, see if we can fit him in. If not, he should be able to sell him for a fair bit of money. So he's been sent out on loan, which is good. So get him out. So we're definitely going to keep Donny van der Beek. So if we run through our positioning, so for our goalkeeper, we've still got Silerson and Lewingber. So obviously Silerson's number one. Our right backs, we've got Van Rijn. We're going to bring in someone else, which is fine. We'll have a couple of players for there. Left back is still going to be Boylerson and Dykes, basically sort of battling that out between the two of them. I think they're both quite good players. Don't really see the need to either sell them or get upgrades for them. I think they are really quite good, which is awesome. Vergeva's probably a little bit of a... I'm actually half tempted to actually sell Vergeva. He's got a bit of an interest from a couple of English clubs. So Stoke there, and it was West Brom as well. I'm half tempted to sell him. Like, I know he's a really good utility player. He can play across the back like central defence or left back. Or even right back if we need him. So that's probably the thing that's really keeping him. He can play multiple positions, but he got 19 games, which is not a whole lot, but I suppose doesn't really earn a lot, does he? So maybe we should keep him. Right, so for our central defenders, we've got Joel Veltman, Hendricks, Wesley Holt, and who else do we have? 1, 2, 3. I swear there was someone else that we had as a central centre back. I suppose we got a Vergeva there, don't we? Did we sell someone? Oh, we had Baswell, didn't we? That's right, we sold him. He was playing left back quite a bit. Interesting. Interesting. I can't believe I didn't realise that until now. Maybe we should actually look at bringing a number really top quality centre back if we can find them. Interesting. I actually got my eyes on a few people I wanted to bring in. Maybe we should look at bringing in that guy from Feyenoord who's already playing. I think he would be a really good centre back. Because obviously Veltman's a very, very good player, I think. Which is good. We've got Wesley Holt as well. I think he can develop up as well if we give him a few more game times this season. Jorrit Hendricks as well. I think he's done quite well. If we give him a little bit more development, he can develop up again. Yeah, so that is interesting. So that's fine. So Hendricks is definitely going to play as a central back. He's not going to play as defensive mid. So we've got 3 centre backs at the moment. Maybe we need another one. Don't think Vergeva is like a long-term centre back for me, to be honest. He's probably not quite good enough. I think you probably get someone a little bit better for our centre back. So it's fine. So in terms of defensive mid, we've got 2 guys. We've got Christopher Ayer and Donny van der Beek. They're going to be our 2 guys. So probably Christopher Ayer is going to start, given that he played really well last season. And then Donny van der Beek's probably going to be like maybe the rotation, get a little bit more development for him. But I think they're probably, both of them are probably almost just as good as each other. Probably Christopher Ayer is just a little bit better, I would say, for me. Some of his physicals and his mental stuff, and he's developed up really quickly, actually. So 19 years old, and he's still got another fair bit of development to go, so he's going to be a machine. So that's going to be our 2 defensive mids. So for our box-to-box midfield roles, we've got a few options. This is probably the area I'm thinking maybe we have to get rid of maybe one player, because we probably got too many guys. So we've got Duarte Jensen, Sinkgraven Nuri, John Nemanja G, and Davy Klaassen. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players for 2 positions. Yeah, so that's a bit of a problem. So because obviously Nuri was playing out on the right with Shone, but I'm actually thinking about maybe rotating Sam de Jong out there with Shone instead, because that's going to increase Sam de Jong's competency out on the right here. It's going to make it, if he's playing there, if your players are playing in there, they're actually going to develop, get the competency up a lot quicker. We actually are training him out on the right as an advanced playmaker as well. So we definitely want to get him get that trained up a little bit. So I'm thinking I should probably rotate Shone and Sam de Jong, which puts Nuri in a little bit of a hard position because he's definitely a playmaker. So he's got to play in that sort of attacking that sort of essential midfield attack role. He's not a box. He's definitely not a box to box. His marking, tackling, his work rate and stuff probably aren't really good enough. So he's definitely sort of an attacking midfielder. So I don't really want to sell him because he's only 20. I'm actually half tempted to send him out on loan for a season because obviously we're going to have a recall thing if we need him to. Because obviously we've got Nemanja J and Klaassen are going to be our 2 sort of central midfield attack guys. And then we're going to have Sinkgraven and John House-Sage probably going to be, and Ruben Jensen. So probably going to be like our box-to-box guys. And then Duarte is sort of out of the picture a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe Duarte is going to go. He should be sold. I'm thinking maybe Nuri goes out on loan for a season, if we can recall him if we need to. So even then we're going to be like sort of one person over, which is not ideal, but I think we probably get away with it. So if we've got 5 players for 2 positions, that's sort of, 2 main starters, 2 backups, and then an extra who can sort of float around. So I think Duarte probably, I think he did really well last season, but he's just not getting enough games, really, to be honest. I don't think he's really worth it. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to sell Duarte. We're going to send Nuri out on loan for a season, because I don't think he's quite as, so midfielder centre, I don't think he's not really up to the class and Nemanja G level yet. He could be, I think, if he develops up a little bit more, but he's not there yet. So I think maybe send him out on loan for a season. We should be able to get him at a fairly good club, because he's quite a very good player. So we should be able to get him out of quite a good club. So I think we're going to do that. And then on the left, we've got Victor Fisher and Eunice. So that's pretty much covered. They're really 2 really good players there. And then on the right, we've got Shone, and we're going to rotate Sim de Jong there as well. So I think that's pretty good. And then for our strikers, we've got El Ghazi and Milik. So that's pretty much covered. Yeah, so I think that's good. So that's sort of the thing, like we've got 47 million in the bank, but we don't really need anyone. Probably a centre back is the only thing that I've noticed there. We can get rid of a couple of guys. Probably get rid of Leren Duarte. Probably keep Vigiva in for a while, given that Van Ryan's injured as well, so he's going to be out for a couple of months. So I probably need another sort of replacement or another option at right back, which Vigiva is really the only other one we've got. Like, he's only competent there, but he's actually better than that's a better option than we've got basically anyone else. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's what we're going to run within our squad. I think that's a really good squad, actually. I'm really quite happy. There's a lot of quality in there, which is really good. So in terms of our transfer, like I said, we've got a huge amount of money, but there's not really anyone. Like, I'd really only sort of do it, really only like look at bringing someone in if they were like a really top class player, like a really sort of, out of this world player, which I don't think there's not really anyone that I'm really interested in at the moment. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Alright guys, I think I'm actually end the video here. We've probably talked for long enough. It's probably ran for long enough as well. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hope you enjoyed this series, and let me know any feedback, suggestions, comments, all that kind of stuff would be really good. Alright guys, I'll see you all for next episode.